Kiyosaki challenges you to shift from an employee mindset to an investor mindset. Instead of relying solely on earned income, he encourages you to make your money work for you. Starting a business can provide passive income and financial freedom. It's your opportunity to create a system that generates revenue, even when you're not actively working. Now, let's take a closer and more detailed look at the book and the key aspects introduced by the author. Key point 1. Wealthy individuals don't work for money, they make money work for them. Most people spend their entire lives working for someone else, exchanging their time for money. This choice is primarily driven by fear, particularly the fear of being laid off and not having enough money to cover bills and expenses. Yet, it's not just fear, greed also plays a pivotal role. When we receive our paycheck, we start thinking about all the wonderful things we can acquire with that money. This is where we find ourselves caught in the rat race pattern. Earning more doesn't solve anything. There's never enough money. Many people focus only on the immediate bills they need to pay at the end of the month. They let money control their lives without considering if there might be another way, an alternative to the traditional path of working their whole lives for money. In contrast, wealthy individuals take a completely different approach. They use their money wisely by investing in businesses, real estate, stocks, and more. This allows their money to grow without them having to work harder for it. Key point 2. Rich people buy assets, while poor and middle-class individuals buy liabilities. Many people struggle financially throughout their lives because they don't grasp the difference between an asset and a liability. An asset is simply something that puts money in your pocket, like rental income from a property you own, whereas a liability is something that takes money out of your pocket, such as a car loan payment. Poor and middle-class individuals often buy liabilities, mistakenly believing they are assets. This often happens when buying their primary residence. Many of us think that owning our home is an investment in an asset. However, one of the key revelations of Rich Dad Poor Dad is that our owner-occupied home is a liability as long as we live in it. The reason is simple: by paying the mortgage every month, this home takes money away from us. It's a different story when we invest in a property that we rent out and that generates monthly income for us. Of course, this doesn't mean we shouldn't buy a house. The important thing is not to invest all our money in this house and to understand that we are not investing in an asset. If we were to invest the same money in stocks and bonds, it could generate annual returns. However, a house is a constant expense that takes money away from us every month. Many people still disagree with the idea that their home is not an asset. Even banks sometimes categorize a house as an asset, including it in our net worth. In reality, what matters is whether this house generates income or expenses for us. If the house is an expense, then unfortunately, it's a liability, at least until we finish paying for it. So, the second lesson is clear: it's crucial to understand the fundamental difference between an asset and a liability. Once you grasp this difference, you should focus your efforts on acquiring assets that generate income. To recap, the poor buy liabilities and only have expenses, for example, car loans, loans for buying phones and TVs. Middle-class individuals buy liabilities, mistakenly thinking they are assets like their own home. The wealthy buy assets that generate money. Key point 3. The wealthy mind their own business. Our education system aims to prepare young people to find good jobs and secure decent salaries. The luckier ones will indeed find a job, and their lives will revolve around their paycheck, quickly entering the rat race we discussed earlier. The third major lesson from Rich Dad Poor Dad is that to build financial security and independence, you need to mind your own business. What does that mean? According to Kiyosaki, the formula is straightforward: keep your job, but start investing in assets, not liabilities. Keep your expenses low, reduce debt, and diligently build a solid foundation of assets. Here's a list of assets to prioritize: businesses that don't require your presence. If they do, it's a job, not an investment. Stocks. Bonds. Income-generating real estate, example a rental apartment. Loans provided to others, the author refers to IOUs. Copyrights for intellectual works, example books or music, and patents. Anything else with market value that generates income. Minding your own business means working on your wealth by investing in assets that make your money work for you. The fantastic thing is that money works 24/7 without needing your constant attention. Another important distinction is that the wealthy buy luxury items later on, while the poor and middle class tend to buy them up front. Key point number 4, wealthy individuals use companies to pay less in taxes. Here's what the book unveils as the richest people's greatest secret: understanding and utilizing corporations and businesses. It's the comprehension of the fiscal, legal, and financial mechanisms of corporations and businesses that allows the wealthy to stand out from the crowd. A corporation can be a simple entity with some legal documents inside. The reason is simple: corporate taxes are lower than individual taxes. Not to mention that certain expenses can be routed through a corporation to avoid taxes. A vacation can be turned into a business trip, a piece of furniture can become an office item, and a car can be considered a business expense. The author explains that most people work 5 months a year for the government due to taxes. In terms of taxation, it's much smarter to invest than to spend. Investment taxes are consistently lower. Tax benefits are not the sole advantage of corporations. Having a corporation also provides legal protection against potential disputes or issues. To comprehend the advantages of this strategy, let's consider Kiyosaki's story. Despite having a well-paying job, the author experienced immense frustration. The more he earned, the more substantial his tax deductions seemed. For this reason, he decided to create a company through which he could make real estate investments. In less than 3 years, his company was generating far more income than his highly paid job. Kiyosaki explains that without his financial education, he would never have achieved this result. Let's simplify these terms. Accounting: this is like keeping track of your money. You write down how much money you have, where it comes from, and where it goes. It's like making a list of all the candies you have, how you got them, and how many you ate. Investments: this means putting your money into things that can grow and make more money for you. It's like planting a seed in the ground. Over time, that seed can grow into a big tree that gives you lots of fruits. Market knowledge: this is about understanding what people want to buy and sell. Imagine you have a lemonade stand. You need to know when people are thirsty and want lemonade. That's market knowledge, knowing what people like and when. Law: think of this like the rules of a game. Just like in a game, there are rules in life and business. You need to know these rules so you can play the game fairly and avoid getting into trouble. It's like knowing the rules of a sport so you can play without breaking them. Key point 5. Rich people create money. 300 years ago, being rich meant owning land. Later on, wealth shifted to factories and production. Today, wealth is information. Those who have the right information possess wealth. That's why investing in your financial intelligence is the quickest and safest way to become rich. According to the author, fortune is something we can create for ourselves, just like we can create money. How? Through the most valuable asset we have, our mind. When properly trained, our mind can generate enormous wealth. By investing in our financial intelligence, we can spot and seize opportunities that come our way. Understand which investments are the best. Accept that to invest, we must take some risks. Minimize those risks by making smarter investments. Recognize that many people never succeed in investments because they fear losing, but losing a bit is the only way to improve and learn how to win. 6. Rich people work to learn, not just to earn. It's incredible how many talented people earn less than their potential. Many individuals simply need to develop their financial intelligence to exponentially increase their incomes. In traditional education, the common advice is to specialize as much as possible to become experts in a single field. The author's Poor Dad believed in the dogma of specialization and advised Robert to go to university and specialize as much as possible. The Rich Dad, on the other hand, advised, try to learn a little about everything, so that you're never enslaved by a single job or industry. The rich work to learn, not just for money. The key message to take from Rich Dad Poor Dad is that it's crucial to invest in your intelligence and financial education. Most people are close to financial illiteracy, which is a significant disadvantage for them. How to put the advice of Rich Dad Poor Dad into practice. To turn words into action, you can start by educating yourself by reading the best financial education books. Restricting your expenses and debts. If you already have debts, start learning how to reduce them and try not to buy liabilities. Saving a portion of your money each month to invest in assets and wealth building. Thank you for tuning in and exploring the valuable lessons from Rich Dad Poor Dad. If you found this information insightful and want more financial wisdom, then don't miss out on our future content. Click that subscribe button below, show your appreciation by giving it a thumbs up, share your thoughts, questions, or your own financial experiences in the comments section. We love engaging with our viewers and learning from your perspectives. Don't forget to ring the notification bell.